What is your racial background?
I'm half Chinese, half Jewish.
Half Japanese and half Russian.
My mom's Chinese and my dad's American.
I'm white, Native American, and Korean.
I am part Japanese, and I suppose the rest of me is mainly Norwegian.
I am half Chinese, 3/8 Irish, and 1/8 Scottish.
What other terms have you used or have you heard, and what do you like and what do you not like?
Mixed, hybrid.
I generally use halfie when I see someone that's half Asian. I'm like, oh, they're halfie. People use Hapa a lot.
Often my friends call me a Jap, which is normally derogatory, but they say it in good fun, so it doesn't offend me.
Mostly like mixed race, exotic.
And some friends back home, they decided to call me Chirish.
I think mutt sounds really bad, you know? Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like it when someone's like, if someone's describing me as, white or Asian, it's mixed.
The only one I can think of that I don't like is being called one or the other. I don't like being called white. I don't like being called Oriental. My mother has a really big thing against Oriental versus Asian.
Depending on the context, I either refer to myself as Japanese or as American. When somebody's asking about my racial background, depending on what answer I perceive them to be looking for, I will say one or the other.
Have you ever had an occasion where someone didn't believe you were of Asian descent? What was that like?
Yeah, I get that all the time. A lot of people think I'm Native American or Hispanic or just white, Italian, anything. And people will just be like, you're lying.
Yeah, definitely people were like, I don't believe that you're Korean. You don't look Korean, because I don't.
Most of the time people either just can't tell or do not believe me when I tell them.
I think it's believable if I say I'm half Asian. They'll be like, okay, it's not going to be like, you're lying.
Particularly in China, this happens to me a lot. My mother's full Chinese, and so every time we go out somewhere, she always introduces her daughter. And so many times people look at me and are like, that's your daughter? And she's like, yes. And they literally fight my mother and me on it.
There have been times when people haven't believed that I was the son of my father, simply because of the way I look. It's not outright racism. I've never experienced the sting of oppression.
Pure Asians look at you and they don't think that you're Asian, But white people will look at you and they'll generalize you as Chinese or something, When I lived in Maine, everyone thought I was Chinese because everyone was white there.
I went to a party with all Asian people there, and this one guy wouldn't let me in the party. At first, he was like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing?" This guy came up to him and was like, "Oh, he's half Chinese," and he's like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "That's really weird," but then it turned out he was really drunk and didn't know what he was doing.
Has being Hapa ever affected your social or dating life?
Sure.
It kind of split. I remember at these camps, the Asian kids and the white kids, and I was able to hang out with both, and I really liked that.
Because I grew up in Hong Kong and a lot of people were mixed there, so it really wasn't a big deal.
I feel like the fact that I don't look Japanese at all has made it so that it hasn't had an effect on my dating life whatsoever.
When you're in a school full of a bunch of white people, you're always like, I wonder if so-and-so will like me because I'm Asian. And he likes blonde girls and white girls, And
I remember asking my friend once in front of a mirror, asking her, why do you think everybody's so interested in you and not me? And she told me that it's because I was Asian.
Being that 1% of the minority in New Hampshire definitely affected the way I interacted with peers. I didn't ever really feel like part of the group a lot of the time.
Do you notice Hapa people really easily?
Yeah.
I think it's the eyes. Immediately you could just tell who's half Asian.
if there's a girl who looks like my sister, generally I'll be like, is she half Chinese? Maybe, I don't know. But it's not like I know.
But like as a little kid, you know how you like look at, you know, you turn on the TV and you look for people that look like you to like kind of come to terms with yourself and your own like, you know, your own body image and stuff. I like don't think I ever did that.
I consider myself to be more Japanese than I actually am. So I suppose that I don't think about the differences very often.
I really like being Hapa, but I don't particularly know why. I think I like that there's like a mystery behind the way that like we look.
I think they look really cool. So I'm usually like, oh, that person's part Asian, you know?
I have never met anybody who's half Chinese and half Jewish in my entire life still. And I don't know, I remember like even calling up my mother and my dad and being like, there's people like me here.
I guess I was always identified as the American in most places. I guess because the fact that I just don't speak any Chinese or really know much about that. So, no, it hasn't really affected me.
Your shirt has Chinese on it though.
That's true. I think I got it in Urban Outfitters. So